afternoon and welcome to Take Action News with David Schuster. This is guest host, executive producer Daniel Marans in the host chair once again this week, but for the last week on this Saturday, June 22nd, 2013. Let's get right to it. On Take Action News, we've been giving you updates every week on the factory collapse at Rana Plaza in Bangladesh, which is now believed to be the largest workplace disaster in modern recorded history. It killed 1,127 people. It led to the creation of the Accord on Fire and Building Safety in Bangladesh, which some more than 18 multinational corporations signed up to an agreement guaranteeing $500,000 at least toward the repairs and workplace safety in each of the Bangladesh garment factories in Bangladesh because they benefit so much from it. Of course, there have been many holdouts, including the enormous retailers Wal-Mart and Gap. The Bangladesh apparel industry has $19 billion in revenue and employs 4 million people. Joining us now is one of my personal heroes and hero to many, the leader of a movement within Bangladesh and across the world to make conditions in Bangladesh for Bangladeshi workers better, to create solidarity for these Bangladeshi workers. Kalpona Akter, she's the executive director of the Bangladesh Center for Workers' Solidarity. Kalpona, thank you so much for joining us on Take Action News.
Hi, this is a pleasure to be joining this program.
Kalpona, you've been through an amazing struggle yourself as someone who worked in the sweatshops at a younger age. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But first off, I want to get your take. What are the next steps in this movement for solidarity with workers in Bangladesh to ensure that something like Rana Plaza never happens again? We are doing a lot of, awareness raising programs and as much as meeting with the workers, so they can raise their voices to speak to their factory management that if the factory is unsafe, then they have right to say that no, it will not work. So that one thing that we are working in here in the ground. And there is a factory which has been, very recently there is there's a crack found, or through the inspection team, it's found that this factory is danger, and now we are working with that factory workers for about 500 to 4,000 workers working. So we are working with those workers not to go to this factory. Yeah. I know that when the Rana Plaza factories did collapse, it was activists like yourself on the ground that helped identify Wal-Mart brand Fame jeans amid the rubble. I also know that worker advocates in Bangladesh suffer tremendous threats of violence and intimidation. Someone like Aminul Islam was a worker advocate who was found dead with signs of torture. Do you fear for your life when you're doing this work with workers in Bangladeshi factories?
Honestly saying, Aminul was my colleague. Aminul was working for our center. So, truly saying, sometimes, yes, I do afraid. But when you see these death tolls, like Tazreen, like Rana Plaza, they are more than my life. These people dying like hundreds. So that really tell me or give me a that tell me that I shouldn't be afraid. I shouldn't be just afraid about my life. It is it is more than my life that I need to do. So I'm not afraid, but sometimes I'm not afraid.
Do you think that the labor movement in Bangladesh, doing the kinds of things like you're doing, of talking with management, of talking with workers and trying to empower them, is there a future for the labor and union movement in Bangladesh? Will there be progress after this tremendous catastrophe?
This is, really a historical turning point. Okay, so every stakeholder should act right. And I believe, I'm kind of optimistic that, these will make a change, the labor movement in Bangladesh, and this will help to get a safe working space for our workers for in future.
Kalpona, you are obviously also working with organizations around the world to pressure people that work with suppliers in Bangladesh. You recently traveled to Arkansas to speak on behalf of a minority shareholder group at the Wal-Mart stockholders meeting in Arkansas. And you delivered a very powerful message to the Walton family that owns Wal-Mart, saying essentially, you're collectively worth $93 billion. Do you have it in your heart? Why don't you have it in your heart to at least sign on to this accord that would make you legally liable for the safety in these factories? How hard was that to do, and do you believe that that eventually we will be able to help move the needle on Walmart?
Yeah, I mean, it is not that that Walmart doesn't know what's happening in here. It is not that Walmart, would not know that their clothes were sourcing from Tazreen or maybe or lately in Rana Plaza. So to be me in the shareholder meeting, there was two reasons. One of them were that one of them were that the 10% shareholders should have a right to call a special meeting, but the main reason was to let Walton or Wal-Mart executives from a first hand in front of everyone, in front of media and everyone, know that what they're really doing here in the bottom of the supply chain. Like in the shareholder meeting, when they're cheering and making their face happy by telling that how much profit they made last year. On the other hand, they should know to making that profit, how many people they killed. And so my part was that I was able to address that issue, and of course, my position is not to embarrass them, but it is more like to tell them that how important it is for them to join in the accord. So that I tried to deliver my message in the shareholder meeting, and I hope many people understood that Walmart should do that. Even in that, after the shareholder meeting, many associates and others, they came to me and they said, you made the point. So people really understood that Walmart executives or Walton did not understand yet. So I think it is very crucial for them to sign this accord, because the Walmart is the second largest apparel sourcer from Bangladesh.
I mean, it is very moving to hear that at least some associates and some of the shareholders did go up to you afterwards to say that you had a point and that you were right. I mean, the contrast there is so stark in terms of, Hugh Jackman singing at this shareholders event and you then going up and telling your story. It boggles the mind how some of these people sleep at night. I want to get your take in terms of other strategies. Do you think that there will be, we'll see, are there going to be continuing campaigns through institutional investors to pressure Walmart and these other retailers to sign on to this accord for safety in Bangladesh? I know that Canadian institutions representing some $44 billion in assets released a joint statement recently saying that they support the Accord on Fire and Building Safety in Bangladesh and timely and effective action to ensure respect for the fundamental human rights of workers and supply chains of the company in which they invest. But that was not a binding statement. That was not a statement saying we're not going to invest in these companies anymore, I don't believe. Is there going to be a movement to get large institutions, universities, unions, those kinds of things, to divest from companies that have not signed on to this accord?
Yes. There are protests, and there will be protests by the in front of their stores. Like we are doing protests here in Bangladesh, and there will be protests throughout the U.S. and Europe, of course. And the organization like United Student Against Sweatshop, International Labor Rights Forum, and other union like Unite Here, AFL-CIO, Chance to Win, UFCW, everyone is coming together to do this protest. And as you know, there is an organization which has been made by Wal-Mart Associate. It's called Our Wal-Mart, or Wal-Mart Warehouse Workers. Everyone is supportive to this accord, and these great activists, great folks will keep doing this protest. And in coming days, I think there will be a global day of action. So
that's so important that we make note of that, which is that on June 29th there is an international day of action all across the country and across the world, and here in Washington D.C. there's a gap on Connecticut Avenue that people are going to be protested, led by folks like United Students Against Sweatshops, some of us, and of course you can find out more information about that at gapdeathtraps.com. Is there another place where people can go to find out information about opportunities to help take action, to help pressure these retailers?
There is always a online campaign. Like some of us and other organizations have online campaign documents. So the consumers should sign that and send it to the Gap and tell and Wal-Mart to tell them that how important it is to sign this accord to save these workers' life. So the consumers or the people in New York, they can go to the Herald Square where there will be big protests are going to plan by many groups. So it is really really high time to raise voice from every corner, from every avenue, to save save the working place for our workers.
Kalpona, I'll tell you what, I have more questions for you, and I want to make sure that we get those in, and I don't want to shortchange this at all. So if you don't mind, I'd like to keep you on the line, and we're gonna cut to break. I'll have a few questions for you after a brief 4-minute break. I want to get your personal story. Can you do that?
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much. An amazing person, Kalpona Akter. And of course, folks, come out for that day of action, June 29th. That's next Saturday. Go to gapdeathtraps.com, someofus.com for more information about that. We're going to be giving you all the latest information on how you can take action. Take Action News continues. We continue our conversation with Kalpona Akter.